So you want to find out how to use drop D tuning effectively? I got a couple ways, so let's take a look. Hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of every single time I post a video out on playing guitar. So drop D tuning, in my opinion, is one of the coolest tunings to go into. What's really nice about it is it's really quick to get into, so you don't have to swap guitars and things when going into it. If you're playing live, it's quite quick, it takes a couple seconds. All you do is you hit your low E and you hit your D and you drop it until they match, and then you're ready to roll. Okay, so pretty much what you're doing when it comes to drop D is you're dropping your E string down to D, right? And that's moving the actual note actually up a semitone. So for example, well, it's moving it down in the tuning, it's moving down a semitone, but when you're playing your power chord, for example, you know, you would play G like that, but now your G note is moved actually up the neck. So your G note is sitting there and your D is right below it. So your power chord is these two notes sitting underneath each other. When it was in E tuning, obviously it was like that. So it's moved up. Same sound. Gives it a bit of a lower frequency and a unique sound. Okay, so drop D gives you a little bit of a heavier sound, and how you use it will obviously determine, you know whether you're using it in blues or whether you're using it in rock and whether you're using it in heavy metal. It can be used all over. But the cool thing about it is you can solo over it quite easily. You know. Especially if you're just soloing in your pentatonic, you don't have to change a lot. You can still keep your pentatonic the same, but obviously that top string, that top string jumps up. But normally when you're soloing in it, you don't even need to go onto the top string because you've got the other strings, so. But if you did, like, run into the top there, when I ran onto the top string, I just jumped there. But I'd mainly play the solos kind of down the bottom. So I'd love to hear in the comment section below how you use your drop D tuning. Do you use it in the heavier blues style? Do you use it in the metal style? Does it come into the classical rock style or the finger picking style? Yeah, let me know. So the way that I use the drop D sound and the way that I like to, and there's no right way, there's no wrong way, it serves every style of music in all different ways. But the way I like to use it is kind of like how Jimmy Page used the drop D sound. And this is where I kind of picked up the sound being more suited to or tailored to my needs. Where you're not making the drop D sound the main root of things. So a lot of the riffs and things will be like, so that's like using the actual drop D sound as the main heavy riff. Whereas I like to use it kind of in the other way, where you're pretty much, it's the secondary point. So you've got your kind of blues rock and roll sound or your heavier rock sound happening first, and then you've got the drop D sound which is mixing into it. So you hear the colors of like your power chords, your normal bright and kind of high-pitched power chords come through, and then you hear the drop D sound kind of bring in, and it just creates a really cool kind of purpley color. So you get that. So like an example of that would be like, there it's kind of like on the secondary end, you know, you got your power chords happening first, bringing out, and the riff, and then you sliding into, as opposed to using it on top, you know, as opposed to using it as the primary sound of that, which is beautiful as well. But yeah, I just kind of like to mix that in first, and then you go into the solo and the leads on top of that, so that works quite well. Awesome. So if you want to check out my style of guitar teaching and guitar coaching, download my free videos. I'll leave a link in the description to that below. And if you want a pretty in-depth, deep dive into the guitar, you know, going from beginner right from zero all the way to the end as becoming an advanced player and progressing on forward, check out my guitar course in the description. I'll leave a link to that below. And be sure to check out this video next, which I'll leave a link to in the description below. But until then, peace.